starts recording. Okay, he's recording. But yo, I became a fan after. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I didn't watch the show. All right. So look. Here's the deal. My Greg's on the line. We're owners as well as fans of the culture, right? So
there we go.
We see something dope. We like, man, we should be doing that, or we should have did that, or we want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't like my thoughts to get tainted. So I didn't watch it. So I told a friend of mine I was doing this interview with you, and they were like, yo, you got to watch the show. You have to. You just have to watch the show. So I binged it, and I was like, damn, glad I watched the show. Now I was already. Let me be clear. I was a fan because I was listening to the music after the show, but I hadn't watched the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I knew how it ended and everything. But yo, man, you're doing your thing, man.
Thank you.
That's all I can say right now. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But,
it's dope to have this moment. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and be able to share my experience. That's it. You know, a lot of people got on the show like, you know, and not to knock nobody, but you know, want to be a star. Like I want to be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? But like, shit, I was for sure a teacher. You know what I'm saying? And I'm for sure from where I'm from and know everybody over there. And so it was really like, oh, y'all done let somebody who like, if rap didn't happen, like I'm solid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to share that energy with a platform that usually attracts people that's like I gotta rap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man, you better know what you rapping about for you. You know what I'm saying? For you step in that world at that level. You know? So because it's a crazy platform. It's never been done, and it was for what it is. It was done well. You know what I'm saying? Because it broke the right rules in terms of like how to do it for hip hop, what network to be on versus being confined to something that just strips it of what the essence of the culture is. So that much was done correctly. So it's a huge platform, you know, for me, and I of course benefited from it in terms of the amount of people who are aware of what I'm about. But yeah, it definitely was a win for your boy.
For sure.
And for the city too. You know, when I go to Inglewood, man, the feeling is crazy. They like, hey, bro, you brought a chip to the champs. You know what I'm saying? So
nice. Yeah. Well, I just want to just get started and say, AllHipHop is a website that's Black owned, and I say that because we have a certain swagger about us that may be a little bit different than some of the other sites. So a lot of the things that you talk about and reference and exude even is very near and dear to our hearts. So we appreciate the music and the art, the level of even lyricism that you displayed, the musicianship. You know, when you brought it home, I recorded the performance because the song doesn't have piano, Last Supper doesn't have the piano part, and that's like, okay, we need to put that on Spotify too. Like people need to hear that, see that as well. In terms of just, first of all, like your general upbringing, coming up in Inglewood, you almost have this duality that I really relate to for real. Like me and my business partner, Greg, we're both from Delaware, and we grew up with both parents. There's a lot of similarities there. Neither one of our parents was incarcerated or anything, but I had two teachers as parents. Come from a family of educators, and so it's just so many similarities there. I did not play the piano, nor did I play the sax. My mom played the piano for the church and stuff, and I wasn't with it, man. I regret that to this day.
Man,
you
had it at home,
bruh. My mom got a piano and an organ in the house still to this day. I mean, it bothers me, man. It bothers me. But I ask you, what does Inglewood mean to you? Just speak in general about your family upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot when you were explaining your upbringing. So there's a lot that you're gonna understand inherently. about the duality, right? You got, it's really indoors and outdoors, right? So in the home, we had all the love in the world, all the attention in the world, all the tutelage. You know, like Pops was locked up until I was 8 years old, and when he came home, he was like, I'm making up for lost time. So on one hand, when he was locked up, we was knuckleheads, and this is early, you know, like fighting from since I could remember walking and running, I was fighting, like, and you know, but then of course when he came home, having both parents, you know, and he's a natural teacher, like Sunday school teacher, pastor, and then my mom has always been a music teacher and a musician. So that attention that people who love teaching naturally give to their own kids, we got that, you know. Of course, you know, my parents weren't rich by any means, so it was, other than like a couple years out of middle school, it was public school and catching the bus, because you know they were working, so it wasn't like they could like take us to school every day. And then, you know, catching a bus in LA is going to teach you a whole lot, you know what I'm saying? Like a whole lot. Immediately as a young black man, you know, like when you got to sit on a bus stop that's in a hood, it's like, you know, hood etiquette, and you just you're aware of your surroundings. So I think Inglewood was that duality. Like we had all the love in the world in the home. We had you know, music instruction at home, but it didn't change the fact that we got a whole different education when we stepped outside, because you know, we had to be aware of the element, you know, cars pulling up, you know what I'm saying, knowing what you're wearing before you step out the house. If you meeting somebody, knowing what your homie about to wear before y'all meet up. Because, and we didn't always get it right. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't, the homie caught the bus to my house, and he lived over in the Six O's, like on like 60th and like Avalon, like on the east side, but all kind of hoods over there. So he was like, hey bro, meet me at the bus stop. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we could walk back to the house. And I meet him, and we just happened to both be all just like, that day we both was just blued up, you know what I'm saying? And I just didn't think, because, you know, I'm by myself, I know a lot of people in my neighborhood, but I didn't think for a second that he would just pull up like that. And so it just, you know, things happen. People saw us, was sweating us hella heavy, you know, we had to defend ourselves, all kind of shit. But it's like that duality is what I lend to the music, because it's both a family thing, like a family structure, a community thing, and it's a social thing, you know, because you can have the family together, you can have your network of people that are there to uplift you, but on a socioeconomic level, if you can't escape, you know, the element of that community, you have to develop a different type of intelligence. And that's just, you know, who was it Booker T. Washington or Marcus Garvey that talked about the dual consciousness, like being black automatically. Part of that is like having a dual consciousness. You can't just be, you know, that's a privilege to just be. It's like, no, I am me, but I exist within this world, and then I have to, you know how to be, know how to move, you know. So.
Absolutely. I want to ask you, when you and Snoop had that interaction about Inglewood, he asked you where you from. Can you, like, what did that mean? Like, I think I know, but I'm not fully sure. What was going on, the unspoken language?
The unspoken, and I knew in the moment, the unspoken language was, hey, I see you, nephew. Like, I see that energy. I see that authenticity. Go ahead, represent, you know, more so than like, and it was a little bit of curiosity, like, because that, like, most niggas don't feel like, niggas who grew up gang banging. Like, I always got banged on because niggas felt I had that energy. You know, maybe it's because I was fighting early. I love fighting, but now I love fighting. Like, I box, I did martial arts and all that stuff. I just love the exchange of people who can actually do it and understand that energy. Like, I don't care to fight in the streets. Like, I don't know or trust these niggas. You know what I'm saying? But it's just that energy that he saw in me. And most niggas have always mistaken it for like, oh, he with the shits, he a gang member, you know. And I didn't grow up far from him, so that energy, you know, rubbed off. And so, but more than anything, the fact that they had already paid me high compliments on my ability to rap, it meant that I see that energy is something that could sustain you through all of this industry bullshit. I see a real one in you. Go ahead, represent where you from. You know, thinking that I was gonna be like, man, I'm from doop doop doop. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where a lot of times that's people's training grounds. You know, for me it was just a little different. And so, for the most part, I knew in the moment that was a nod, that was a look, like I see you. You know, but it was authentic to the coast. Like, if people see you as a threat, that's when they, that's when they press you. If they see you as a square, they're like, man, whatever. They might just run up and rob you or something, but they're not gonna be like, ask you no questions. So in him, like, that was his way of, one, giving me a nod, like, hey, you a factor. I see that energy, represent. But it was also out of curiosity, like, nigga, where you from? You know, so I answered honestly, you know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I was like, I'm not gonna switch my answer if you're not gonna rephrase the question. Like, and because I went out there and told him I'm from Inglewood, you know, so so he respected my get down, and that's not the approach that I wanted to take to introducing myself to the world, you know, on the gang tip, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I know what area I grew up in. I know who, who is proud. It's there, it's people that I'm inherently, by nature of how I came up, my older brother banged, and where I grew up, I'm inherently affiliated to a certain degree. But because I never was out in the streets like, boop, 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 like I'm not gonna do that on TV all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? So had he asked a more specific question, then the answer could have changed. Like, where'd you grow up though?
Right.
Okay, well then, if you need to know, and it was cool though. I respect and appreciate the fact that he did that, because that's a big look. You know what I'm saying? The top rapper to ever come off the West Coast, you know what I'm saying, was like, he did something for me that he didn't do like that. That performance, everybody there was from the West Coast. So he could have made that part of his regular questioning. I'm the only one he asked that. You know what I'm saying? So that just meant like, hey, I see you, bro. Like, this some West shit. So go ahead and represent.
I saw you had met Nip. Were you at that first, how it all started? Were you in that room?
I was not. I've only seen Nip in person one time, and the irony of it, like up close in person one time, it was at the place where he went and got juice, Fiesta Martino Slauson at Overhill. And I used to go over there and get juice and breakfast with my mom and stuff. And I saw him, I was like, oh shit, that's Nip. This before Rhythm and Flow. And it wasn't like, I know in the hood, everybody run up and be like, hey bro, I rap too. And I didn't do that. I just was like, hey, what's up, bro? Respect. He was like, I see you. Man. That was it. And then that day, I was one of the people who didn't go to 1500 or Nothing studio for that pre-taping. Inglewood IV was up there, so I didn't meet him up close and personal. But we've been like in similar circles for years and years, like, and it's I met 1500 or Nothing. They have been a production team since before I was rapping devoutly. I was on a writing team and running my own little independent label and managing other artists and stuff like that, trying to get my family on. So we had crossed paths with 1500 like since I was 19, and then DJ Battle Cat, like everybody over there, like I had been working with and collaborating with, and it was just a matter of time before. And that was the one person I said, like, when this shit is over, that's who I want to work with. Like, I want to work with Nip, and then it turns out, the tragedy happened, and I ended up shooting videos with Sergio, and Sergio has become a close friend just because his character and his ability to execute, so, and Sergio was doing on Nip's videos, so but we never like linked, and that's something that I regret.
That's crazy. I mean, you definitely, to me, you don't lyrically, obviously you guys are very different, but the power is there, you know what I mean? And that's what I respect. We've met Nip on a number of occasions, and one of the reasons I respect him so much is because when I did meet him for real, is I was in LA and we did a community event. It was just me, him, a bunch of community leaders, and a group that invited us, and I was like, gosh, this dude's a real guy. You know, he doesn't really have to be here. It's like 40 people in the audience, like, you know, not even a big deal. Right. So I had a lot of respect for that and other reasons. Obviously, musically, it was crazy. Absolutely. I saw you wanted to be a producer growing. I was going to ask you, what do you want to be when you grew up? And I looked at a couple interviews, and I said, you wanted to be a producer as a young child. Like what? Like how? I know you grew up. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's from seeing it done early. Like my uncle played bass, but he had a full studio, and I seen him like make beats from scratch with. And this is when you couldn't buy a computer and software, and then all of a sudden you're a producer. Like you had to have hardware on hardware, like, and each piece cost 2 bands. So it's like to have a studio, you had to spend 30 racks. You know what I'm saying? And so I would go to his house, make beats on his stuff, and then he you know, when we hit 13, like that Christmas, he brought, you know, he saw we had been signed as kids. We had, you know, done all kind of music, sung background, kids choirs, all kind of stuff. But my uncle Andrew Boucher, who was an MD for like Shaka Khan, Prince, he played bass for Prince. You know what I'm saying? He literally wanted to get a whole new studio, so he brought everything he had to our house, from like speakers, keyboards, recorders, sound modules, Planet Fat, MoFat, you know, the computer, you know, MPC, you know, the beat machine. Like he brought everything over, and so that's just catapulted us into like, even before we incorporated and all that stuff, we had a name for ourselves. We was Woodworks. We was the young niggas at the high school walking around with the CD players, putting the headphones on other people's ear, like, hey, I did this.
Right.
And they'd be like, hey, you did this? What you mean? Like, I made this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what catapulted me into that. And to this day, I still produce. You know what I'm saying? On my last project, I produced Black Habits 2. You know, and I feel like there was one more I produced on there. Oh, I produced Black Habits 2. There's one more I can't think of it right now.
Okay.
But you know, mine, I like to get more musical because I started off at the keys, so it's like I like to do compositions more so than like heavy beat making type shit. Like
or like songs.
Yeah. You know, I recorded the rim shot on the snare that I got at the house, and then put the shit on that. You know what I'm saying? So it just had that different warmth rather than pressing the button and going on the hard drive for sound. So
okay. Now, I mean, it's been well documented. You come from a musical family, and your mom even gave up touring with Stevie Wonder to be a mom. That's beyond sacrifice, man. I don't even know how to, you know, that's just next level. Your brother, Sir, is signed to Top Dog, and there's all these intersections, and I'm not sure what the other word is, but it just seems like destiny was, you know, this is destiny for you. Did you ever lose faith? Did you ever, I know you became a teacher. Did you ever sort of lose, did you have these rap dreams and just decided not to, or how did that work?
Right. There was never any quit. Like quitting wasn't an option. It was just, I mean, that doesn't mean you're not discouraged. Like you can get discouraged, like, fuck, like what's about to happen? You know what I'm saying? But then my thing was always like, get better. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even, I didn't think get better even meant get better at rapping, even though I always want to improve at my craft. But I knew, because it's raps of all level that's out on the highest platform, I knew that it really meant like, learn the game more. You know what I'm saying? And apply yourself better in order to put your art out there. So that was, you know, what I always focused on. And because as a musician, you listen to music differently than the public. You know, I listen to entire projects all the time.
Okay.
Public pays attention to movements. There are like things, like my cousin taught me something about how the mind works based on like marketing and how many times people have to see something before they fully buy into it. Right. So it's really the science of the psychology of people, how they work, how they accept new ideas and buy into movements, that I was really like, okay, let me learn this. And the irony of it was, it was at the moment where I was prepared to do it all by myself and had all the confidence in the world in myself, my team, and my plan, that Rhythm and Flow reached out and saw the momentum that I had created and was like, hey, you would be dope for this, you know? And so that's what I try to tell like young artists, like, look, everybody want to be a part of a moving train. You know what I'm saying? Like, create that momentum and sprint with that shit. You know, that's why I admired the homie Toby Nwigwe so much, because him and his team have mastered, and he said it in these words, mastered the art of being resourceful. Now, when people come and offer you stuff, it's like, but why would I take that? There's a hook attached to that. I know how to get it done my way, you know? So that's what I did to kind of put myself in that position.
Yeah. Are you still independent?
I'm independent. Yes. I'm signed through Empire. So they handle the distribution and stuff, but of course that's a partnership. So and it's a good one. It's working.
Yeah. I was surprised when there was no deal attached to the money and the prize and stuff. I mean, I was actually stunned. I was floored.
That's one of the things they did right.
Yeah.
Again, one of the things, because that would have prevented so many authentic artists from even being interested. And I'm proud that I'm the one that came out the winner, because now it's like the people who the people who see it and who believe in themselves and have something to actually say know that, oh, there's this platform that's gonna give real rap a fair chance. You know, that's all we can ask for. Give it a fair chance. But and another thing, how they chose the judges was dope, because it's a what between people who want to make a career out of them being a personality. You know, what's his name? Simon Powell, or you know what I'm saying? Like, because he's not a rapper, it's like I entertain by how I treat these contestants, right? Whereas a rapper, so he can be subjective as heck and be like, "That's how I feel." So what? Whereas an artist who's current and still putting out music, if your opinion is not true to the culture that you say you represent, then people gonna be like, "Oh, nah, I don't fuck with them no more," because they whack, in my opinion. So you got judges up there that's like, "No, I'm keep it 100% honest." And throughout the competition, I watched all three of them keep it 100. Like, "Hey man, I'm fighting for it." And they was on camera like, "Hey man, you know what? I was doing this for the bag, but now that I'm seeing y'all and how y'all putting your heart out there, like, we gonna go for y'all." Like, and they all, went for what they really believed was happening. You know, Cardi cried at one point, like, "Damn, y'all niggas is," you know what I'm saying? And
she seemed really torn.
You said, what's up?
She seemed really torn.
Absolutely.
Towards the end, like legit, like she didn't really want to pick.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Even the humor incorporated with it, she still this is how she felt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You went to UCLA, graduated, which I love. I love that, because I went to the University of Delaware and graduated from there. And it's funny, the last class I had to take to graduate, mandatory, was Spanish. I sucked at Spanish. I was the worst. I hated Spanish. I couldn't. I took so many years. I wanted to learn it, but it just wouldn't stick. You have made a mark in that regard too, and I think someone else commented that it just seems so authentic. Which most instances, I'm not gonna lie, it's real shaky with most rappers, even some that are Latino, Latinx, whatever. How have you been received from the Latino community?
Man, it's been overwhelming love from the Latino community, Latinx community, because one, I've been able to I'll do interviews completely in Spanish. I'll tap in with the Spanish community in a way that I have prior to rap, and I think that's what you can't fool people. People know what's up when they see it, and so you know, I've been doing that work. You know, I've done years as a Spanish teacher. You know what I'm saying? So it's people know when they see something, and it's like, okay, this is not a performance. This is a real, like, it's a conversation in rap. And I'm not, you know, I never profess to be or pretend to be Latino. I'm black, you know, but I'm from Inglewood, a very black and Latino place, and I'm basically telling black stories because our story is one that the whole world is listening to, right? Some people just can't access it the same way. And it's one thing, like, I get love from the Latinos in the States that's like, hey bro, we respect what you're doing because, you know, in a lot of ways you breaking some tension. This place is still, that's like, man, blacks and Latinos, like, man, they at odds. So the Latinos out here is like, man, we appreciate that. But then there's people out of the country, it's like, I really can listen to you and know what you're saying and hear the message behind it, you know. So it's just a privilege to be able to do that. And I knew that that was one of those things that was going to distinguish me. So that's why we went out in the first round and was like, hey, this is what we're going to hit them with, and slowly let more out of the bag as the show progresses.
Nice, nice. Now, you went, you know, as I noted, UCLA and a teacher. How have you talked to some of your old students? Like,
All the time.
yeah, what you know, what's their response to all of this?
It's funny, man. Like they sometimes they send me pictures from the classroom because, you know, I was the teacher that, like, all right, we're gonna have a certain amount of fun because learning is fun if it's done well. Like, we gonna establish respect. You know, I'm not gonna disrespect y'all. I'm gonna talk to y'all with the utmost respect. Y'all for sure gonna respect me. I do lead this shit, so like when I say something, that's what goes. But I'm taking all of y'all, you know, interests, concerns into consideration in how I run the classroom. So, needless to say, it was a dope experience for me first and for my students because I cared to create that kind of environment. You know, that being said, they'll send me pictures from, you know, when I was in the classroom with them, group pictures where we like, all right, everybody in there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just to look back on those moments and know that they watching is just something that I'm immensely proud of because, you know, I've done somewhere between 7 and 10 years of teaching, you know, and so, you know, that's thousands of kids that come through your classroom. You know, you have in the inner city 30 to sometimes 40 kids in a classroom 6 times a day. You know what I'm saying? That's 200 plus.
Yeah.
And multiply that by years and years. So it's they out there. You know? And a lot of them now are grown, and so you see them out. You see them on their jobs, making deliveries. You know, they'll pull up in a car that's better than yours, and be like, "Hey, Mr. Ferris," you know, like, and they just be super proud. So it's just dope to be able to inspire. You know, that's what you know, Nip said. The highest human act is to be able to inspire others. So yeah, no better.
Were you a college rapper? Were you rapping in college? Were you like?
I did rap in college.
Yeah. Did you open for? Well, how was it? And did you open for anyone? Did you open any of the concerts or anything?
You know, it's funny. We opened for Kendrick Lamar back in 2000. I want to say 12.
Okay.
At Whiskey a Go Go, a venue that only holds, you know, 800 people or something, if that. And it was packed to the brim. You know what I'm saying? Packed. And the thing is, that night, we opened for other people too, but that's the main one I remember. That night, his crowd didn't fuck with nobody, you know, because the way they get openers is a lot of times it's nonchalant. They will be lucky to get us because we was showing up with a full band, setting up, sound checking, tearing shit up. Like, it was Sir too. Like, we was all on the same bill. Me, Sir, my cousin Tiffany Goucher, my brother Davion. And we came up as Woodworks, and we would basically be on some, we start off, open the show with like harmonies where we kind of do the intro and like kind of tag your man style. Each person would have a section, you know. And so that night, we watched everybody's set, like, and it was probably like 4 openers other than us. And the crowd would drown out the sound of the music because they was packing in to see motherfucking Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
And so we looking like, ooh, they don't giving nobody no love, right? But we knew what we had planned. Like, we set it up to where, like, whether they know our music or not, once once our set starts, they're gonna be like, whoa, wait a minute, something's happening, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like to the point where they thought Kendrick was about to jump out. Like,
Right.
You know, so we had a band. What we did was, and my boy DJ Quest Coast, shout out to him. He was spinning for us with the full band. So he started off with Stevie's "Living Just Enough, Just Enough for us to say." Dude, ba ba da ba da ba boom, drummer going nuts, right?
Right.
Drummer going nuts, whole band going nuts, and both my cousin, me and Tiff, we're on instruments on some songs, and we step from behind and do our shit. So niggas like, what the fuck is going on, right?
Yeah.
So we doing our shit, and the crowd goes silent, right? They're like, we don't know what's happening, but something's happening. Yeah. Nobody's talking. They staring at us. Don't know how to participate. Not a lyric. You know what I'm saying? We completely unfamiliar. And they're silent the entire time with the exception of two main moments. One was my cousin Tiffany. She came up and sang a cappella.
Okay.
And when she finished, because she was dressed like a rapper, dressed like a boy, you know what I'm saying? When she finished, she got this beautiful angelic voice. When she finished, or no, not even when she finished, when she opened up, crowd goes nuts, like, oh, like loses their shit. Like Lauryn Hill just got up and did her shit. And then the other part was I did this song, what's the shit called? Called Overkill. And it you know, super dope, kind of like Outkasty vibe. And in the second verse, the whole first verse was in English. The second verse we broke, the band dropped out, and I said, "Si tú me entiendes, te lo digo. Andar en mi zona, eso es no más suicidio." And went off. Man, they lost, because you know Kendrick Lamar's early following, the backpack crowd was like heavily Latino as well. Right. They lost their shit, right? So then we just finished our 30-minute set, and then afterwards we was like, we left stage, came back, was like, hey, we got some music, we gonna get this shit away to y'all for free. They went nuts, bro. I've never seen 200 CDs. You know, this back in this 2000, you know, still. Yeah. I've never seen 200 CDs fly so fast.
That's crazy.
Just so that it's like, hey, y'all look out for us. And that was probably the perfect crowd for what we were doing at the time. So that's the most memorable opening up experience. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot though. We opened up.
Do you you know, wishful thinking, but maybe you and K Dot on a song? What could we make that happen?
I spoke with K Dot after Rhythm and Flow. We had a chance, you know, because I was in Vegas. Sir performed with K Dot at a day in Vegas, and so we chopped it up. You know, I was backstage chilling. You know, this is shortly after Rhythm and Flow finished, and you know, he had done the whole show, couple hour set, and then once he kind of got his rest and came out, he was about to jet, and then he looked over and saw me. He was like, "Hold up!" And then he walked up. He was like, "Smoke, nigga," because we had met on tour before. We had met when Third was on the Redemption tour with all the TDE. With the Redemption tour was I believe it was the Redemption tour, and so we had, you know, hit workouts and shit together, being competitive. Everybody hitting push-up, pull-ups, and all that shit, talking our shit. And I'm really over there for Sir. And that's kind of like for TDE, they're a close-knit circle. So it's not like you're gonna come in and be like, hey, I want to be down. It's like, no, I'm here with my brother. You know, and I think they respected the fact that despite what everybody knows TDE to be, it's like when I'm around, like me and Sir, we on some brother shit. And they like, okay, that reminds us of us, you good. You know, so he knew who I was. So the time he saw me after Rhythm and Flow, he was like, nigga, you did your shit. Like I didn't know. And he was like, to get that off on a television network amidst what he knows television to be, was like, man, that was impressive. He was like, you know, we gonna do something special for the coast, you know. And so, you know, he's not one of those people to just say stuff, you know, in vain or just for no reason. Like, we gonna do something. It's just a matter of time. You know, I believe in collaborating when it's mutually beneficial, and I got some strides to make for myself so that when we show up and make that moment, it's not a handout. You know, like he said to Dre, like if Dre try to give me a handout, I'm gonna take his fucking hand and break it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I view it. Like, the price for the feature is mutually beneficial, you know.
Right.
And that's on both ways. People be like, what's the price for the feature? Like, there's nothing wrong with people being business minded about their craft. Like, people want to fault you if I'm like, if you say like, I need that feature, like, how does it help me? You know, like, how does it benefit my career and who people understand me to be on everything? And how does it help me retain my energy to every time I show up, give something authentic? If I'm on everything, then when I'm trying to put my own shit out, I've kind of said a lot of what I want to put in my project on somebody else's shit.
Yeah.
And it might be lost in the shuffle. So so yeah, that's why. But I mean, if that bag is right, you know, hey,
of course.
bag, you know.
You've collaborated with so many people already. I mean, I even heard, I can't even remember the artist's name. Oh, it's 211, that's his name.
Yep.
And that joint, I was like,
that shit go nuts, right?
Oh
yeah,
God.
boy.
I was like, yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
but it just seems to be like a great range. You got your Snoops, the Game. I mean, it just seems to, you know, go on and on. Is there anyone, you know, like next project that you have in mind or already working with?
I'm gonna hold out who's on the next project.
I tried.
You know, as a musician, I like to work with the other artists who are also musicians. So I'll give you one for the project, and you'll be the first to. You the first person I tell any feature. But I have a song with PJ Morton. You know what I'm saying? So of course, you know, he's a brilliant musician. He's the Stevie Wonder of our time. And he's his own artist, and so those are the kind of moments that are the selfish. Like, I want to work with this person because after all this is said and done, I'll look back and be like, that's who I sat down with or connected with over the phone and did music exchange files, however it works. So that's one person. In terms of this project, I got some rappers on this project as well. And you know, I'm excited about that, as well as some singers, you know. But of course, my main goal is to tap in with people that I actually connect with, people from the coast that can help me tell the story of our West Coast culture, you know what I'm saying, authentically. And like, I tap in with the G's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've never been separate, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people think in order to escape the hood, you gotta separate yourself from that element, when it's not true. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta know how to move, you know, you gotta be wise, you know. Saying, you know, that being said, you know, it's some people that tap in that we not reaching up necessarily. I want a Drake feature, I want a Big Sean feature, and I love all those dudes and what they do, but it's really like, we're gonna do something special for the coast by tapping in with the right people, and then making moments of it.
Don't be too selfish, man. You could bring some of that over to the East Coast too, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, you know, hey, if they respond, you know, I've reached out to some people, you know what I'm saying? But again, it should look mutually beneficial, because that's when it's a big moment for the culture.
Yeah.
For the numbers, for the game, for the, you know, streaming purposes, then those things make sense for me. But you know, I want them to be able to be like I work with him at a time he's doing his shit, you know. So
yeah, one thing you did that I really respect is you almost backed out of Rhythm and Flow. You felt like it might be too much of a reality show situation. First of all, like, that's, you know, that type of integrity is crazy. But I mean, I guess this is sort of a silly question, but how do you, you know, like, do you ever think about what could have been, or are you like, it would have happened anyway? Like, how do you?
Oh, it certainly would have happened anyway. You know, that's why I was going, you know, bow out gracefully. You know what I'm saying? Because we had momentum. The things that we understand about our rollout now, we understood before Rhythm and Flow. That's why we were actually able to make some larger moments of that moment. You know, a lot of people would have been like, "Oh, we peaked. Did you see my name in the lights? Did you hear the fireworks go off when I went?" Like, you know what I'm saying? They'd be like, "I did it." You know, but we was like, "No, this is an opportunity to do what we already envisioned, you know, at the level we see it." So, but no, I didn't. I'll definitely. I did turn it down and then continued the conversation with people. And the dope thing is they had enough, you know, black people on staff in production that were like, look, our name is on this. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to, you know, Jesse Collins, Get Lifted Entertainment, John Legend's company, and all the people that they put on to be like, guys, otherwise it's not gonna get love, you know, from the community. We need the hip hop community to buy you.
You know? I got a couple. I don't want to hold you all day or nothing, man. You know, there's so much to unpack with your music and just story, like just about everything. But one thing I think I alluded to it earlier. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, the video for Lights On is crazy. Like visuals are all dope, but Lights On, it stands out to me with Issa Rae. And can you talk about the artistry? It's Sir's on there too as well, I might add. How important are these visuals, and how important are videos now? I don't really watch videos that much. I'm not gonna lie. Like I grew up with MTV, Rap City, BET. You know, you sit in front of the TV and you watch music videos. But yeah, I'm kind of grown now. I don't have too much time to be watching YouTube like my daughter and stuff. But that particular video, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was like, he's sitting right next to Issa Rae. Like, I'm like, how did he get her in the video? Who directed it? I saw that at the end. You know, I had all these questions, including the artistry of it all. I know that's a non-question, but can you just speak to the whole general importance of videos, how you got Issa Rae, blah, 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 you know?
Right. Well, first off, I believe that videos have a life of their own outside of the music. So it's worth doing well, because videos tell people what caliber of artist you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you the dopest underground dude, or are you a threat or a factor among the names of the top artists? So it was something that I always viewed myself doing well, or you know, always prioritized as something that we had to do well. And so for that video in particular, you know, we threw some names out. Like, if we wanted somebody just to star in the video, because mind you, I'm not the star of the video, so to speak. You know, my performance, I only say the first couple words, and then everything is about the storyline. And so we threw some names around, and it just so happened that, you know, Issa and I have done work before. Prior to Rhythm and Flow, I was helping her produce these live shows, you know, where she was having these conversations with some dope artists, you know, one of which was Jasmine Sullivan, you know. And so, but we have done that a couple times, and a friend of mine works directly with her. So that's somebody, one, I just respect her art because she does it at a high level, but also does it with a certain amount of integrity and respect for the culture, you know. And so, because we had connected personally prior to, you know, on some work and with people that we both like, love and trust, you know, when her name came up, we had that direct tie-in, and we told her the concept, like, look, we understand if, you know, this ain't where you're going, but she was like, no, like, that's something that pushes my artistry into a world where I haven't gone. Like, and I get it, because it's, every time it's like, how do I reinvent myself, but do something creatively that pushes me and takes me outside my comfort zone. And so she was game. She was up for it. And she brought that to life. And the beauty of that is projects and projects from now, we'll look back and be like, yeah, we did that, you know? So that's how that came together.
All right. So I got a few more rapid fire questions, not long at all. These are rapidy rap questions. Do you still use a pen and pad?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, dope. Do you smoke and write?
No.
No, okay. Do you toil over words when you write?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I scratch out stuff and, you know, go back. I'll take whole sections, put a box around it, and put an X through it, and then write under that. Like, You know, so I play around with it, you know, because sometimes you got to finish a whole thought before you decide if you like it. You know,
Right.
I'll scrap a whole verse and go
Okay.
back, you know.
Dope. There was a bit of battle rap in Rhythm and Flow. Do you have any desire to do battle rap? Do you have battle raps for competition laying around?
Battle rap is not my cup of tea, so to speak. It kind of took me out of character on the show, and you know, no shade to be thrown, but the way it was edited, because verses, they couldn't do entire 16s on all of Rhythm and Flow, so they had to select lines to remove, and how the intro, if the intro played out for the entire 8 bars, they cut it to 4, and then they put the audio back to it. So that rap was shifted to where it doesn't even play how I rapped it to the beat, you know. So I was like, that's the one moment that I hopped up out my seat, like, they got me looking like I can't motherfucking rap right here, you know.
Right.
Of course, people are like, you know, the things you said still did what they did, and so on and so forth. But if there was a moment where I was like, hey, look, I'm gonna go out here and do me, and whatever happens, happens, it was the battle rap, because you don't know what, you know, Old Man Saxon, he went first and threw some insults, you know. Like, this nigga talked about the sister I don't have and shit,
Right.
all kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, oh shit. This nigga said, fucking read your autobiography, like, ain't that about a bitch? I was like, ooh, this nigga called me a bitch. You know?
Yo, he was so funny to me.
I've seen so many battle rap, and I admire it. I look at it like, these niggas is creative in that arena, you know. But I just, you know, coming from Inglewood, battle rap just sound like a gang of shit that niggas say that they would never say to a nigga in their face. Like, so I like fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not gonna stand across and be like, you nigga, bullet through your chest to your whole like,
right.
My shit. Like, I'll punch a nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, yeah, I had to get out of that, man. Too many guns get pulled out, man, these days. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying, like,
yeah.
You know, that just wasn't my thing. You know, I feel like I come from music before rap. You know, and that's why I'm glad I found a specific rap that spoke to me. Because before that, it was mad gospel in the house. It was mad Stevie Wonder in the house. It was mad oldies in the house. And then we heard Snoop, and it kind of like fit into like, this makes sense in there. You know what I'm saying? Then we heard Outkast, and it was like, ooh, you know. So and then somewhere between that, then Badu. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't quite rap, but it was just like, okay, this vibe, it makes sense. Like, music, culture, rap, when it all connects, then it's like, okay, that's what I fuck with. Like, and you know, some niggas might hate it, but rap for the sake of rap, it ain't the shit. You know what I'm saying? Why? Make sure you got to know why. You know what I'm saying? Only niggas from outside the culture, mostly people who just fuck with rap because it's rap altogether, all rap, them niggas ain't black. You know what I'm saying? Black people are more selective on the rap that they listen to. We'll be like, nah, we don't fuck with him. Somehow he's popular, but we don't fuck with him. You know what I'm saying? So it's for the sake of our shit, the shit we stamp, that's ours, and we know what that is. You know, the coast knows exactly what that is. You know, all of the Dog Pound, Das Corrupt, Dre shit, our shit. You know, not just because it got popular.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we know that there's so much mechanics behind the scenes and some fuck shit, and people with money who want to see us, our minds on some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? They'll put money in, they'll blow somebody up just to distract us. You know what I'm saying? Dope shit we own, you know, so
real talk.
I fuck with rap for the sake of rap, but I fuck with dope shit. And that's why I never cared to be a battle rapper. But I do watch that shit. It's entertaining as fuck, you know.
Yeah, it is. All right, other question. Okay, this is just, I don't know how you would take this. I don't want it to be disrespectful, but because you can rap in Spanish, would you collab with Cardi on some you talked about it. She mentioned it, ghostwriting things for her. Any of that?
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect at all. I would work with Cardi. I would write for Cardi. You know what I'm saying? If she's with that, I still believe that's gonna happen. I did a song. I wrote a song for Snoop. You know what I'm saying? And that shit's going up. You know,
Okay.
um, La Maldición. It's called Maldición. And it's with one of the top mariachi bands out of Mexico, and it went big. You know what I'm saying? And we got Snoop. I was in the studio with Snoop, producing vocals. Like, no, that's not how it's pronounced. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, that's not how it's pronounced.
Right.
He kept trying. Snoop is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because Snoop, if he knows he makes a mistake, he's still gonna finish the line out just to keep working on the vibe. So, that process to see him work, it's a learning experience. So
yeah,
it's just for the experience of it, of course. I'm not gonna turn that down.
Okay. Do you? I think this is a basic question. Do you get writer's block?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think everybody does it at some point in their process. And I think part of being a professional at what you do is knowing the science of maneuvering through and around that. Play around. Like, if you can't figure out some shit you like, do some shit that's funny that you don't quite like, but you can laugh at yourself. That'll spark the shit that you like. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep.
You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you. Gregor, is everything all right on your end?
Let me see if I could.
My fault. Here. You see everything?
Mm-hmm. Mike, if worst case, just go out and come back in, and it'll reset. If the camera doesn't start back up.
It didn't start back up for you?
Nah. If you exit out and click the link again, it should work right away.
I'm almost done anyway, but I didn't know if you could see it and I couldn't, because it had went out at one point, and I just kept talking and came back, so I was like, okay, I don't know if that was in there or not. Dang, they say Cardi filed for divorce.
Jesus. I have to try to find them court documents. I saw that coming. You know why? I'm going to tell you why, Chuck.
What?
Always a bad decision to put a woman in a position where you propose to her in front of hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh, yeah.
She had to say yes.
Right.
All right.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Just wrapping up. I make no mistake about it, man. I just love lyricists, man. I love cats that inspire me creatively when I hear them. So I always have to ask those types, who are your top 5 dead or alive? Who influenced you? Who gave you that fuel to write these bars?
Okay, we're gonna go three stacks.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go Snoop. We're gonna go Jay-Z. We're gonna go Corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go Lauryn Hill.
Nice. Here's a story for you. South by Southwest, I was out there with Terrace Martin, and Corrupt rolls up, and I spit directly to him his verse from Snoop's first album, My Niggas and My Bitches. I forget. You headed my way. You best to hit a U-turn quick, so what's happening? I'm capping shit up like a Western flick. The kingpin of the click, top knot, 17-shot Glock cock, so all nigga drop. I said this whole joint to him, and oh man, I was just so honored, man. Corrupt's like one of the most underrated, man.
Bro, incredible.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was in Inglewood, going to Inglewood High, all blood school, and when Calling Out Names came out, I love New York. The niggas that represent, y'all ain't, he was like, I don't give a fuck. Catch me in the hood, all blue chucks, gang bang the out, cuz. Only thing I like to ride rough is eat, like going ham. And it's like, I'm in a place where I can't even spit these lyrics out loud. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, you know, and you know, bounce, rock, roller skate, all that stuff was like West Coast classics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To like, shoot, you know, one of my favorites ever. You know, Cali is active. You know, so yeah, that kind of stuff just moved you. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like home. You know, and then I think what got me. Like Corrupt got me into like, okay, this is the perfect marriage of West Coast gangster shit and lyricism. Andre 3 Stacks was like, I'm writing poems in my raps to dope beats. And you know, Snoop was just king of the coast. Like first rap I ever learned as a kid was with so much drama in the LBC. It's kind of hot and Snoop D.O. which, you know, and then Jay was the nigga that was like, okay, we on the West, but it's a nigga over there from New York that's like, hey, you got it's Jay was one of those people you set out to learn all the lyrics to whole projects, you know what I'm saying? Because you just knew that it's just so much game packed in them that you want that to be a part of your vocabulary, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And then Lauren will rap circles around most, you know, probably in that top 5, you know what I'm saying? And it was just, I know what she had to be going through as a woman in rap and music to be that big so fast. And her level of stardom off one solo project is like undocumented, you know? So, and with her having a family at the time when she was releasing it, it was like, as the public, of course, we wanted more from her, but I just love that the quality of what she put out. And even the Unplugged album was just so dense that we can just live with it for so long, you know?
Yeah. Man, appreciate your time, man.
Pleasure.
Yeah. What you know, what's next for you? What are your ultimate goals for yourself?
Well, we have another project coming out, more than likely before November is up, and you know, you'll see the run again. You see the visuals that we love to come with, and following that, you know, I want to expand into you know, explore some other things creatively, like an entire project in Spanish is something that we've talked about. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, I've written a book that I want to release. It's a novel, and you know, that's going to be somewhere in the film world, whether it's, you know, in a movie or a series and things like that. So every year we still dropping a project, but it's like some creative things that deserve to be shared with the world to show different sides of, you know, who I am as a creative. So those are some things we look forward to.
All right, my brother, man. Look, thanks for taking time out your day. It's been a minute. I earned this interview, by the way. You know, I've been trying to get at you, and it hasn't been easy. Shout out to my man Tim Sanchez out there who ultimately made the connections. But I just want to, encourage you, man. I know you don't need my encouragement, but just keep pushing, keep staying there. Yeah, on that square, man. I appreciate everything that you do. I share your music with just about everybody who asks for new. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's dead," or "I can't deal with this." It's and I'm like, "Nah, you got to get D Smoke and there's a few others sometime, and I think you'll change your mind."
Man, I appreciate that, man. It's love.
Thank you.
Can we get a drop before you roll out?
Absolutely. Let me know what you need.
All right. Just say, D Smoke, whatever, Inglewood, whatever. Shout out to AllHipHop.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? This is D Smoke from Inglewood, California. Shout out to AllHipHop.
All right. My brother, salute. Congratulations on all your success, man. It's well deserved, well earned, man. Thank you.
Much love. Salute to you all as well. We'll connect again.
Okay, bet.
All right. Peace.